Hey everyone, this is Josh with Movies Please. Don't know if you can hear the cricket in the background, just chirping away like I told a bad joke, but anyway, the show must go on. So I'm going to review Dear Evan Hansen, a brand new musical. This is an exciting movie in a way, in that a lot of people remember a few years ago Hamilton. Everyone was talking about Hamilton on Broadway. Hamilton was a phenomenon. And the movie or the Broadway show that finally came around and took some of that attention away from Hamilton, even not a huge amount, but a little bit, was Dear Evan Hansen. So to see Evan Hansen finally coming to the big screen is exciting, but does the movie capture what made the musical so special? Well, the answer is yes and no, sort of. I think if you are a die-hard fan of the musical, well, I started to say you would love the movie, but I don't know. I'm going to try to avoid major spoilers, but if you want to go in knowing pretty much nothing about the plot, which I don't really think this is the type of movie that's enhanced by going in completely blind, but whatever the case, if you want to go in completely unaware of the story, this might not be the review for you. But again, I'm going to avoid major spoilers. But basically, it's about a guy, a young man, teenager, Evan Hansen. He is a high school student, and he has social anxiety disorder. At least I believe that's what he has. It's at least one thing, and so he has trouble with crowds. He has trouble fitting in with pretty much any group, really. And his therapist suggests that one way to try to help is for him to write letters to himself, letters expressing his feelings, letters of encouragement. So one day, Evan Hansen, and I won't go through the entire plot, but you have to know this to set it up. One day, he's typing this letter and to himself, and it's not the most positive letter, I'll put it that way. Another teenager, Connor, he sees the letter. It's because for some reason Evan Hansen prints it in the school library where anybody can see it. I mean, I don't know about that plot point. I don't know if that was different in the musical, but I don't in the movie it's like, why would you print that where anybody can see it? But anyway, Connor Murphy, he sees this letter printing, and there's a misunderstanding. Connor goes home. A day or two later, Evan Hansen is called into the principal's office, and it turns out Connor has taken his life. And the one thing the parents found was this letter addressed to Dear Evan Hansen. So they think that Evan Hansen was a good friend of Connor, who they didn't think had too many friends, and so they're trying to get to know Evan Hansen, both the parents and Connor's sister. And Evan Hansen didn't know Connor. He's making all this up. He just keeps lying and lying, and he gets more attention and more attention, and he feeds off of that. And just one lie leads to another. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, gosh, this Evan Hansen, he doesn't sound like a very nice guy. Well, that's one trick that the movie, and I guess the musical. Let me say something. I'm talking specifically about the movie here. I can't tell you what's changed for the most part between the movie and the musical, except the songs, which I will get to. But one trick that the movie plays is making Evan trying to make him very likable, he's very nervous, a nervous guy. You feel sorry for him, which makes you more sympathetic toward him. And by contrast, they make Connor very unlikable. He's not a he has his issues, and no judgment, but he does. And so it's kind of a slight narrative manipulation there, in that even though Evan Hansen's doing some pretty crappy stuff, you still feel bad for him. You're like, well, I don't like it, but I understand it. Hopefully, none of us would do some of that stuff he does. Lie about a dead kid just to get attention. See, sometimes when it comes to plots like this, when you strip away all the extra stuff and just get down to the basic plot, it's like, wow, suddenly the protagonist sounds more like the antagonist. Now, a lot has been said about Ben Platt returning to the role that he originated on Broadway. I'll say this, I don't think him playing Evan Hansen, he doesn't look as old. I've heard a lot of people say he looks like a 40-year-old. Well, in the movie, not. He does, if he does, you get used to it. There are a couple times when you do notice, and unfortunately, it's at the worst points, like when he's trying to be romantic with Caitlin Dever's character, the Connor sister. There are some parts in that where you're like, holy cow, because Caitlin, I think she's in her early 20s, but she does look pretty young. And Ben Platt, looks like a mid to late 20s guy, and which is fine. But when they're together and they're like about to kiss, I mean, you can kind of see the age difference. You can tell they put some makeup on Ben Platt to make him look a little younger, and that's fine. But when he is singing and really emoting, the you kind of would have to see it to know what I'm talking about, but the way he kind of twists his face a little bit to hit some of those notes, it kind of you see through the makeup. And again, some of you are going, "What is he talking about?" Well, you if you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Just I don't know when your face moves a certain way, you can't hide the wrinkles. I guess is what I'm trying to say. And then there's a part of the movie when Ben Platt, his character Evan Hansen, is watching Connor's sister Zoe. Uh, from a distance. Actually, it's a montage because we see them do it at different locations. It would have been better if they had gotten like a 15-year-old or a younger actor to play that. Because again, just seeing 30, close to 30-year-old Ben Platt staring off at it from a distance in several shots, um, it doesn't, yeah. It looks differently than they intended. I'll put it that way. As for the other performances, Amy Adams to me is the MVP. All the actors pretty much do a great job. Even Ben Platt, we can talk about the age and all that, but he's a great singer, and I do feel like he probably is a better stage actor than a movie actor because it feels like, at least in this movie, it feels like a lot of times he gets a little too overdramatic, like he's playing to the cheap seats that don't exist in a movie. I don't know. I feel like sometimes he's giving a theater performance versus a movie performance. But Amy Adams is incredible. All the actors are great. But let's get to the film's saving grace, and that is these songs. They've been stuck in my head all day, almost every one of them. The music in this film is just it's great. This movie could have been a disaster, awful plot, awful acting. It's not, but I mean, if it had been, the songs would have still saved it because they're just so darn great. Most of the ones from the Broadway show made it to the movie. There are a couple that I do miss. How to Break in a Glove. That song was cut from the movie, and I get it. It kind of stops the show, and it doesn't add a whole lot to the plot. The song I really missed was "Good for You." Not the one currently on the top 40, the one that originated in Dear Evan Hansen. Uh, for a couple of reasons. Number one, I like the song. But number two, I feel like the second half of the movie loses some energy. I'm talking about after You Will Be Found, the big moment that's in all the trailers and the poster and all that. I feel like it loses some energy, and we get a lot of slow songs. So I think "Good for You" would have been a song that would have really added just a little burst of energy to the second half. I don't know why they cut it. I don't see how it would have taken away from the movie. It's an angry song, and I think it would have fit in the movie fine. I think they should have left it, and I think, yeah, period. I won't spoil it. That said, there is at least one new song, the anonymous ones, sung by the character Alana, and I really like it. I don't think it's as good as a lot of the original songs in Dear Evan Hansen, the ones that transferred from the Broadway show, but it's good enough that it'll stick in your mind, and I think it could be nominated for an Oscar. So yeah, and a great performance to go along with it as well. Other than that, again, talking about songs and just tying it back to to Ben Platt. I think he's a great actor. I have to say, when he's singing "Words Fail," um, I just was sitting there thinking, he had his time performing this on Broadway, and this putting a young unknown actor in this movie with that performing that song could have been a star-making opportunity for a young actor, and, it's just a side thought, but that's the thing about this role. All the other roles were recast. All the major roles from the Broadway show were recast for this movie except Evan Hansen, and, so I think that's one reason why people are being so hard on Ben Platt because why does he get to stay? And that's beside the point. But I think that maybe going with a younger actor would have helped the movie, but I digress. So, do I recommend Dear Evan Hansen? If you love musicals, yes. If you love the Broadway musical of Dear Evan Hansen, Maybe, maybe I who knows really. Plenty of folks loved Cats the Broadway musical but hated the movie. I liked it enough. I'm not going to rush to recommend it to all my friends. It may be nominated for a Golden Globe or two. I could see Amy Adams maybe getting a nomination. But overall, it's just it's a solid film for people who like musicals. It probably won't be one of your favorites, but I guarantee you, you're going to leave with those songs stuck in your head because they are so good. If you enjoyed this review, please click like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Until next time, this has been Josh with Movies Please. Thanks for watching.